United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Mr. Ayer.
Here.
Here. Mr. Bartlett.
Here.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Here.
Dr. Lewis.
Here.
Mr. Van Stone.
Here.
All right, a motion and a second, please, to excuse Mr. York.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Ayer.
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone.
Aye.
Well, all right, he'll be excused. All right, everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from last meeting. That would be October the 28th. Any question regarding the minutes? No? No questions? Really?
I wasn't here.
Oh, okay. Well, hearing no questions, may we have a motion and a second to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ayer?
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett?
Abstain, I was not here.
That's right. Mrs. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
All right. We'll take in those minutes. All right, we have a couple items in communications tonight. We have the Maintenance Department monthly report. I know you've all had a chance to read that over. Ben didn't come to the meeting tonight, huh? Any questions regarding the report? No, if so, you can contact him directly.
I want to make sure we give a shout out to both the service department working with Bill DeGrasse to do the LED lights. They cooperated. That was a cooperative venture.
Yeah, they look nice too, in fact. Yeah. Anybody had a chance to see the new lights over in the old section of town?
They look good.
They're really looking good. Yeah. Colors should be about right. Yeah. All right. Oh, Chief, did I skip over you, Chief?
No, mine's not in there.
You're not in there? Oh,
If I get it done.
okay, okay. Well, then, moving on to the tax department's report. Any questions regarding that? If not, you can contact Mr. Barlow, or if so, you can contact Mr. Barlow directly. All right, Mr. Holloway, any comments regarding the building department's report?
None.
Since you're gracing us with your presence here tonight?
No comment.
Any questions?
Yeah, may I ask?
Sure.
I had one question for you, Rod, and that is the one principal apartment owner who's not participated yet
Correct.
in the rental inspection program. Are we making any headway with getting that to happen?
We're making a little bit of headway. We had an incident where we received a few complaints from a renter, and we did an investigation. I think it helped calibrate them on what our expectations were
Yeah.
for maintenance, which I think was good. And they've actually filed recently some permits for a couple patios and a few windows. So the new liaison for Mariemont, she seems to be a little bit more attentive, but it's a journey. I don't expect to
Right.
have things knocked down, but at least we're having dialogue, productive dialogue with them now.
That's great. Thank you.
All right. All right, we have, up next is permission to address council. And I'm going to go ahead and assume that probably the most of you might be here to talk about Dale Park, am I correct? Or parks? Or, well, you guys say whatever you want. I was going to sort of hold that to anyone who's not talking about one of the parks, and I'm assuming that would be you. We'll go ahead and give you your shot.
Yeah, thank you. Mine's pretty quick. I'm Mandy Beecroft from the library. By November, so we have all sorts of dinosaur activities, including a scavenger hunt for the kids. And it's kind of peaking on the 20th on a Wednesday with Digging for Dinosaurs, which is going to be presented by the Cincinnati Museum Center. So they're going to come in and do like an actual excavation program with the kids. So that'll be pretty fun.
Well, hold on, where's the digging going to take place then?
In the library.
Oh,
So
just-
I
just
think they
more of
just
a-
bring things that the kids can, we're not going out in the field or anything.
Well, I mean, we'd be more than happy to provide locations.
Yeah,
for you.
absolutely. And then Saturday the 16th, for adults, we have a holiday card making program as well in the afternoon. So
Oh, that'd be
anyone's
great.
welcome to attend that too.
All right.
That's all I've got.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Yeah. All right, any other non-related park issues? Kind of those. All right, then whoever wishes to be,
Is it useful to say that on the agenda tonight will not be any in the regular meeting, we won't be discussing Dogwood Park?
well, we won't as council. However, anyone who
Oh, I
has
understand.
shown up here and wishes to
so they
make
know.
commentary on that can obviously do so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and given the size, we do have a lot of people in here tonight. Please, I'm going to be a little strict here about the 3-minute rule. So, Biff, please.
So Bill, you want me to go ahead and take the time? My name is Biff Black. I live at number 1 Spring Knoll Drive, and I'm the president of the Mariemont Preservation Foundation. This is concerning the report of the Public Works Committee about the sidewalk in Dale Park. At its board meeting on October 24th, 2024, the Mariemont Preservation Foundation passed the following motion. The Mariemont Preservation Foundation opposes the proposed sidewalk from Chestnut Street to Wooster Pike, regardless of its design or the materials that might be used. We believe such a sidewalk would be in conflict with the ideals presented in John Nolan's master plan for Mariemont's parks.
Can I show them? I just got it. Thanks.
Hi everyone, thank you. My name is Maggie Kenner. I live on Pleasant Street, and I wanted to bring up Dogwood Park Improvement Project since I'm not able to join on the November 25th meeting. I have two perspectives, one from that of involvement from MPPG, Mariemont Preschool Parents Group, and one from a personal perspective. From Mariemont Preschool Parents Group to start, I just want to highlight that we were invited for input early on. As many of you know from personal experience, we have a history with the Tot Lot as founders of the Tot Lot and making improvements from time and money over the last few decades. We represent young families in the neighborhood with over 93% of our members living in the Mariemont School District. And I just want to say thank you to the leaders of this project. I had the opportunity to join some of the discussions with this audience here, the council, as well as with the civil engineer group and numerous other stakeholder discussions. I've been really impressed with the careful thoughts and the compromises and adjustments that have been made along the way throughout the evolution of this project that Randy York went through last week. And I just want to highlight that overall, the approved plan is aligned with the Mariemont Preschool Parents Group's 4 goals that we shared at the beginning of this project. And those goals are, first and foremost, improve the safety of the park. How can we improve access to the park for our youngest residents? And how can we improve the safety when using the park? Specifically, we talked about the gate. The second thing was maintaining natural aesthetic of the Tot Lot. So we talked a lot about maintaining as many trees as possible and using neutral colored equipment. The third was increasing the variety of play equipment available for visitors to the playground. And the fourth was improving inclusivity and accessibility. So thank you for taking all of those into consideration. And then from my own perspective, recently I was asked if the loop trail is something that we were still very interested in, as I understood that some questions had come up about it. And I just wanted to share a personal perspective. When we first saw the renderings in 2022, the loop trail was something that my husband and I were most excited about. In our previous neighborhood, we had great experiences with the loop trail. And I understand we were not alone in that. Over 60% of respondents to the initial survey said that they were most excited for Dogwood Park. And last week we talked a lot about the aggregate material. We walk the Cincinnati Nature Center trails all the time, and we push our stroller. My mom walks with her cane, and that's a really great compromise that I think that the team has come up with. As part of this, I wrote a letter to council in support of the loop trail. Would it make sense for me to read it out loud, or you have that on your record?
Well, do you have a copy of it with you now?
I do.
Well,
I can
then
type
you
it
should
into
take
the
Okay,
minutes.
great. Okay, and I just want to add that this has been 48 other people have added their names to this in support of specifically the loop trail for accessibility, safety, and increased use of our parks.
Great.
So thank you so much.
Hey, let me ask you an unrelated thing. Have you got the little helpers that are going to help me throw the switch on the lighting of the tree? Have those kids been picked out yet? Yes.
They have. Maybe Alicia can
Okay.
share if we have the winner.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm getting excited. Okay, I mean, I'll have the switch all ready to go.
So can I just ask you, overall, what your number of people you've signed in support? Just general-
When I last checked, it was 48. Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did you want to give that to me? Yes, please. Thank you.
Was that in the loop trail specifically, or there's just a, okay. Thanks.
Please, please.
Hi, good evening. My name is Alicia Stock. I am a resident of Mariemont. I live on Mariemont Avenue. I'm here on behalf of myself. I am also the current president of MPPG, so I'm here in support of all of the great work that Maggie and many others have done within the Mariemont Preschool Parents Group. I just wanted to echo, I will also unfortunately not be able to attend the next council meeting since that's the week of Thanksgiving. I know that's true for a lot of young families, but I did want to come and just verbally express my support personally for this project. I wanted to thank everyone on the council, thank Randy York, who I know is not here tonight. Thank everyone who's been involved. It's been so nice to see all of the compromises made to try to make please as many of the residents as possible, and I just think it goes to show how wonderful the leaders of our village are to try to improve this project, but also make everyone happy. I know everyone ultimately will not be 100% happy, but I do think that the plan as presented was at the council or the committee meeting last week, the Health and Recreation Committee meeting. And the plan just seems so great from a safety perspective, from a convenience perspective, for young families, also for our seniors, and for anyone with disabilities who may need the ADA requirements. So just again, thank you all very much. I love living here. I love the passion that everyone in Mariemont shows. And I'm really excited to see these changes come to fruition. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
This is my first council meeting, so I'm not exactly sure how this works, but.
Just state your name and your address, please.
Okay, Annie Grywe, and I live on East Street.
Okay.
I have seen the proposals for the connector plans, and so again, I don't know if this is the right time to be talking about this, but, and I know there's been some discussion about traffic calming measures because everyone uses Miami as a cut through. Well, everyone uses East Street as really their cut through because they don't want to come to the light at the square. So I've actually emailed before about the traffic concerns on East Street, both on the north and south side. Just when we're trying to cross, I have 2 young kids, and when we're trying to cross Wooster, like, you know how there's down at 50 West, there's the lights that flash when people are trying to cross? Mm-hmm. I can't tell you how many times there have been near misses of people who the first person sees you and they start to stop, but the person behind them doesn't see them stopping, and they are like so close to hitting and having a pile up right on both sides of that Wooster, north and south. But also, I mean, I would ask for consideration too for some sort of traffic calming measure on East Street going north towards Miami, because really that's where people are cutting through. Every time I tell anyone where I live, I'm like, I'm on East Street, you probably use it as a cut through to avoid the square. And they're like, oh, I know exactly where that is. And yes, I use that as a cut through. And so it's like, again, you know, we have young kids and they're always out in the front, and I can't tell you, people just fly down East Street because they're flying down Miami and then they turn left and they fly down East Street. So again, I don't know if this is the right time, but I just wanted to say if there would be some consideration
Anytime's the right time.
for traffic calming measures, both when the connector plans are being considered, that East Street really is a part of that cut through, not just Miami coming down the hill. So thank you all.
We are going to be studying, of course, the intersection, where the trail crosses Miami. And there is a flashing light now that's been put up there.
I saw that.
Well,
Yes,
it's
that's
not
wonderful.
activated. Yeah, it's not quite activated
Yeah.
yet. And we don't have the striping on the pavement yet.
Yeah.
But that'll be coming soon.
Yeah, that's so great.
But the larger intersection there is going to be studied, and I would assume that we can work into that
I saw that,
discussion.
maybe considering like a
Yes.
stoplight or a stop sign or something like that.
Well, we
Do
don't
you
know
th-
for sure.
Yeah.
But
Do you think there'd be any consideration to doing a flashing light style something here on the two Worcester crosses?
Well, let me put it this way.
Sorry.
That discussion about
Yeah.
the study will be an open public meeting.
Got it.
So, but, I hate to sort of
Maybe
I
that's
don't mean
fair.
to put you off.
No,
but
no,
the
no.
time it would be to come back to that meeting
Yeah.
and express your concerns about, I know exactly the intersection that you're
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah, express your concerns then at that meeting.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds great.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
Do you get the village emails? Do you subscribe to them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because that'll announce any meeting and the agenda in advance.
Great. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Your favorite.
Karen, good to see you.
Good to see you all. Karen Ketzel, 3865 Beach Street. I was just made aware of this plan to put a sidewalk between Wooster Pike and Chestnut. And I can voice my opinion. I'm totally against it. I'm a vintage person of Mariemont, and I back the Mariemont Preservation Foundation and saying, no, it is not necessary. People can certainly walk around the streets they have always walked around with. If you want people congregating in that area from all sorts of places beyond Mariemont, if you're planning to highlight the whole walking path with lights and everything else to make it safe, I'm tired of you all spending a whole lot of money when there's so many things in Mariemont that need to be fixed before you spend money. We have trees falling every single fall in the village on cars. Tree people need to be going out and checking all the trees before any more of that happens every single year, especially on Chestnut. We have lots of things that need to be fixed in this village before spending money. And I don't care if it's a grant or not, that money needs to go to what's needed in this village, which is maintaining the village, not adding some silly sidewalk that is not needed. We have for 100 years have the sidewalks that are perfect for this village. Go up to Miami University and walk around their campus. They don't have cut-throughs. Come on, people. This is a silly idea, very silly idea. So yes, I am totally against it, and I do not think that it will benefit this village at all. Please use the funds for the areas that are needed, the trees, the departments, the maintenance department, the police department, whatever is needed. Stop spending money that's not needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Since you mentioned trees 2 times, just so you know, we will be allocating a great deal more money to the tree budget this year, coming year. So,
And we have a tree board that has worked really hard to come up with a comprehensive plan for pruning, for planting new trees, for evaluating trees. We have a new maintenance supervisor who's really in the short time he's been on board, come a long way. So we have a tree board that's working toward that.
Because I've had words with Chirp in the past about the linden tree in the front and it dying back. I've had Davy tree examine it and have said the same thing. The problem is we're a Tree City USA. We plant trees because we're a Tree City USA, but we don't maintain them. They need to be fed. They need to be trimmed. These are expenses that are a priority in this village. Otherwise, all of our residents are going to have
Oh, we don't want that, and I can assure you that this council is allocating and appropriating a lot more money to trees. There's not a member on this council that doesn't, well, I'm assuming, that doesn't agree with me that trees are a tremendous resource to this village, and we must do what we can to encourage them.
Use the money from this $12,000.
I don't know about that yet, but we'll be discussing that in a bit. Louise?
My name is Louise Schomburg. I live at 3885 Oak Street. I don't see a need to have a crosswalk going from Chestnut to Worcester through the lower field of the elementary school and across the bridge and so forth. Again, I agree, the sidewalks are there. There are crosswalks at every end of each of one of the streets, as well as where Pleasant comes down, there's a crosswalk there. So there's plenty of way to get across a Worcester Pike without having that sidewalk going through. I have watched all sorts of people going out to take walks and strollers and so forth, and nobody has had any problems getting around that entire area. I agree that we have things that need to be taken care of, and part of that is to repair some of the sidewalks where pipes are sticking up out of the concrete, or the trees have pushed the panels of concrete up and they're tripping people. And that certainly is a need, as well as doing the pruning and so forth of the big old trees that have so much dead wood up in them that it's falling constantly. So I was at the last meeting. I'm just back to say I disagree with putting that in. I think we don't need it. I think it's a waste of money to put that much into concrete weaving around through where we've got other sidewalks to use. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Rex?
Rex Beavis, 4011 Miami Road. I'd just like to yield 3 minutes to maybe have the Mariemont Preschool Parents Group be able to read their letter into the minutes. I know that they ran out of time and they just handed the letter, and I'd really like to hear what they had to say, if
Can
it's
you
possible.
do it in 3 minutes? Yeah? All right. All right.
Thanks.
Sure. Thanks, Rex.
It's cool, Rex.
Thank you. It says, Mayor Brown and Mariemont Village Council, we are collectively writing to share our support for the Dogwood Park Centennial Improvement Project. These improvements increase accessibility, safety, and functionality, while also adding enhancements to our beloved park. As members of the community with young families, we support the loop trail component of the plan with several benefits, including number 1, increasing accessibility to fields. A loop trail provides a safe environment for families with young children to walk and improves the enjoyment for members needing stroller or wheelchair access. Number 2, improving safety for our youngest community members accessing the park. The trail loop provides safer access to both the fields and to the tot lot, minimizing the need for young children to cross Pleasant Street, Denny Street, Fieldhouse, and multiple driveways. Number 3, opportunity for increased use of the field. More community members may be encouraged to enjoy our beautiful fields with the addition of even grounds, providing increased opportunity for building community. We anticipate this improvement project will enable our beloved park and playground to enhance recreation and enjoyment for Mariemont families for many years ahead. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Really got it in. All right. All right, anyone else? No? All right. All right, moving on then. Motion to pay the bills. Everybody had a chance to look over the bills. Any questions regarding the bills? Kind of straightforward. There's kind of a short bill as this council, really. All right, hearing no question. Susan, did you about to say something?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Do we have a second? Okay, we have a second. All right, let's pay some bills. Mr. Ayer.
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone.
Aye.
All right, we'll pay the bills. All right, I think we have just the one committee report, I believe. And that would be you, Bob.
Yes, this is the minutes of the Public Works and Service Committee from November 4th, 2024. The Public Works and Service Committee met on November 4th, 2024 at 5 p.m. In attendance were Committee Chairperson Bob Van Stone, Committee members Randy York and Rob Bartlett, Mayor Bill Brown and Village Engineer Chris Ertl. Also attending were Council members Matt Ayer, Susan Brownlight, Dr. Marcy Lewis, and approximately 25 village residents. The sole agenda item was evaluation of the Choice 1 plans for Dale Park sidewalk and making a decision on getting bids for the project. Mr. Van Stone summarized the Choice 1 plans, including the widths and multiple switchbacks. Copies of the Choice 1 plans were distributed to the residents at the meeting. Mr. Van Stone also read Mr. Earl's memo on potential changes to the bridge. At that point, the meeting was open to public comment. A total of 13 different people spoke. The overwhelming opinion that the sidewalk should not be constructed due to a variety of reasons, including why build the sidewalk? No survey or request for apartment tenants for the sidewalk. Apartment tenants do not walk through Dale Park. Wanting no change to the bridge, loss of green space, waste of money. Village parks are part of the National Historic Designation document, and John Nolan did not want green space divided by sidewalks and paved walkways. This may be a risk to Mariemont's historical designation. Why have we not seen the plans until now? One participant reminded the audience that rolling hills are not friendly to disabled children, but also noted this particular sidewalk would not be a preferred path for disabled individuals with a slope down the hill and back up the hill with the multiple switchbacks. During the discussion, Mr. York said that the purpose of the sidewalks was to connect the community, which is a goal of SORTA. Mr. Ertl confirmed that the drawings being reviewed had only been received about 3 weeks prior to the meeting. The previous sketches were conceptual drawings created before the topological survey was completed by Choice 1 and did not show the number of switchbacks required to bring the slope into ADA compliance. Mr. York moved the committee should forward the plan to council with no recommendation. Mr. Van Stone thought the committee should make a recommendation. Mr. Bartlett seconded the motion. The committee approved the motion. Mr. York and Mr. Bartlett were in favor, and Mr. Van Stone voted no. The meeting was adjourned at 5:30.
Thank you.
Are all those signed?
Yes.
No, okay. All right, we've heard the report, and I think it's fairly straightforward what we're here basically to do. And obviously, I'm going to open this up for discussion among council. We're here to basically make a decision on what we're going to do in Dale Park, strictly Dale Park. We're talking about the sidewalk between Wooster and Chestnut. Does anyone wish to make commentary?
Sure, I'll say something. So, I heard the concerns, and I understand the concerns that folks have voiced about putting it through there. And I get that, and actually, if it's, the people are against it, that's fine for me. As I mentioned in the meeting that we had, the thing that I struggle with is, back in November 2022, there was a presentation that was made to the ARB about what should be done with the statuary, which is in the same park. And some of the work that is laid out in here has a lot of concrete all around. And so so that's my struggle, is like, gee, this went in front of the ARB said, yeah, this is appropriate. But I hear residents, a lot of residents saying, I don't want concrete in Dale Park. And so I struggle with that. And I struggle because there's also some people who are saying they're against the sidewalk, but they're for this other concrete. So I struggle with understanding how you know, how you can be for some concrete in Dale Park, but not concrete in other parts of Dale Park. Again, for me, the bottom line is if the citizens don't want to have that much concrete in Dale Park, I understand and would support that. I just think we need to be consistent as council members to say, okay, if that's what we really believe, then what was approved by ARB, we should not go forward with, because that has a ton of concrete in it as well. And so if we're trying to preserve that, I think that's something we just need to be consistent about.
Can I make a comment?
Well, let me comment, one comment on that. Rob, I'm not sure, like, the plan that you may be looking at is actually the final plan. I do know that the plan has evolved, and I don't want to speak out of the school here or out of turn, but I think some of the concrete in what was the original plan, if that's what you're looking at, has been, I think that's been cut back.
Okay, because
I'm not, you know, like I said, I don't want to be speaking for MPF, so I don't really know. Maybe, Bob, you do.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Biff, but the current plan that MPF is going forward with will make only one change to the sidewalks that are there. And one is I'm gonna say it's a 3 or 4 foot connector to the sidewalks from Worcester, because there's a cutway through there. But other than those big looping trails that you're referring to are not in the current plan.
And neither is that big apron that's gonna be at the corner. This has got a big concrete apron at the corner that really spreads out.
That's not,
And
I
then
don't believe that's in the plan either.
No, we've tried to separate this into 2 phases, primarily for financial reasons, because it turned out to be a very expensive project. And phase 1, which would be up around the shelter, Bob is correct, we've had to cut back a lot on the, how much of the sidewalk will be there. Phase 2, I would say, which is the area that you're talking about, Rob, when you get back toward the corner there.
Yep.
I would say that really hasn't had as much attention yet because, you know, our focus is on phase 1, which means get the shelter of the statue. But, so I hear what you're saying, but we have cut back on it.
And they've
primarily
also,
for financial reasons.
Are we still taking out that, because this, and again, this could be dated, I totally understand, but like that garden that's right in front of the statues, this thing has that gone and replaced with concrete. Is that still? Yeah, so if you go right in front of the statuary, there's a rectangular garden that's right there. And this thing, again, it just has a whole, it takes that out and it puts a whole big concrete thing right in front of the statuary then. So you don't have to answer it now. I'm just, so you just understand the whole thing is just, I would love to have some consistency about making sure that in Dale
I think
Park.
there's an improvement for consistency, though, is in our process. You know, you can't say, okay, in this park, we're gonna have to have the ARB, and this one we're not. Part of the reason that went before the ARB wasn't because of the sidewalk, it was because of the structure. I know there's some discussion about structure, Lila has looked into it, and there is some subject to interpretation about whether a sidewalk is a structure. She's verified that with various historical groups. So what I really think, if we want consistency, is to go back and look at our code and see how we vet changes to our parks. Doesn't mean we can't change that, but at least we have a starting point where we're consistent. That aside, I think there's room for flexibility as well, because our job is to listen to the residents. That's my job. I have my personal opinion, but I have to listen and put that aside and listen to you all and try to make the best decision I can. So that's what I have to say on it. I was also surprised that there wasn't a recommendation that was made coming out of that meeting, and I had several residents around me remarking, well, why wasn't there a recommendation? Why wasn't there a recommendation? Why did they kick this vote to council when then went right behind it? Health and Rec went ahead and made all kinds of recommendations about Dogwood Park. So again, when you're talking about consistency, there's consistency of process, and I don't feel like that process was consistent.
You were part of the process when we passed the mini pumper in the finance committee to this place as well. So we did something very similar with the mini pumper.
Well,
We said
and
as
you
a
know what,
committee,
and that was different.
and
That's
you voted
not what I'm
for
talking
that,
about right now.
so-
That's not what I'm discussing right now.
It's consistency, yeah, it is.
Mr. Ayer?
Rob, I really would appreciate it if you'd stop mansplaining to me. It's happened so many times, I just really can't.
I'm sorry. if you-
Stand it
I don't-
anymore.
I'm sorry if you're coming across that way to you.
Well, it
That's not my
is.
intention is all.
Apology accepted.
Did you wish to make a comment?
Yes, I would. On the, going back to the Dale Park sidewalk specifically, there's no real secret about how this has evolved or what happened. And that is that the Public Works Committee is more than a year ago, I don't remember the exact date, looked at grant opportunities, and they applied for this sort of grant because the grant was available. SORTA is in favor of making these types of connections. A sketch was made by our village engineer as far as how this could all work, and the Public Works Committee unanimously decided to pursue this grant application for this sidewalk, and SORTA reviewed it, and it fit with their criteria, and we were awarded this grant. And then, at that time, it took us longer than it could have, should have, to get preliminary engineering information to see what it would really look like. And there was too much of a time lag in there, in my opinion, as far as getting to, okay, well, what would this look like and how would it work? But then we saw that, and it's also, I don't think, I just think it's one of those things that's obvious to me, is that there's really not a sponsor for this project, an advocate, a group of people, anything close to a majority of people who want to see this sidewalk happen. And for that reason, number one, I think Randy and the Public Works Committee deserve tremendous credit for getting us on the grant cycle and applying for these grants and looking for opportunities with these different organizations, not just SORTA, but the Land and Water Conservation Grant, the biggest grant of any kind like that we've ever received, and several other grants that we've received. And so I actually want to give Randy credit for looking at this and for looking out for Mariemont and trying to get us the best funding opportunities that we can get. And then I also think, the residents have spoken very clearly. My personal opinion, which is I'm only 1/6 of council, and just like Marcy said, it's not necessarily important to what my personal opinion is because we want to listen to what people want. And my personal opinion is when I saw that, I was like, whoa, I didn't think it would look like that. And that's how it is. Yeah. So I'm not in favor of the project, but at the same time, I think it's been a learning experience for council that when we apply for a grant, that we know all the different details associated with it, that we do the preliminary engineering before we actually apply for a grant, even though it's harder, and even though these deadlines creep up, and even though it's very tempting to get the application and see if we get the money and then figure all that stuff out later, that this has been a learning experience to not do that. So, and I thank everybody for expressing their opinion about the project, and when we get to that point in the meeting, I certainly would support a motion or make a motion that we not go forward with this project, and that we also meet with SORTA and be entirely transparent about the process that we went through, how we did this, what we did, right. And go from there with SORTA, working with them in the future on future grants.
So is that your motion? Are you making that a motion?
Well, that was a lot there, but I could
you could summarize.
I could move.
Does Susan? Did you wish? I want to make sure everybody had an opportunity to speak on this before a motion is actually made.
I guess let's just start with a question. It doesn't sound like there is. Are there any implications to not moving forward?
In SORTA guidelines, there certainly is. However, we're not killing an entire sidewalk project. At least we're certainly not doing that tonight. But that remains to be seen what impact that will have until we meet with SORTA leadership and go through how this all came about. If you just read the letter of the law, they'll ding us for a minimum of 3 years for not delivering on a project that we promised, but which would be, that would be a big hit. But it's going to be, I think, a point of negotiation when we kind of go through, here's what we did, here's what we're doing, here's how it went down, and see what we can do. But it's not the case that we should build a project because we have a grant. That's not a reason to proceed with a project just because we have a grant. So, So
Chris.
hopefully that'll work out well with SORTA, but there's some unknowns with that.
Yeah. But we do plan to engage with them in that regard.
Correct.
Yes, yes.
What are your concerns, Chris, if any?
It's a lot, matters and that we need to interface with SORTA. So this is 1/3 of a sidewalk project that starts at Mariemont Avenue, goes all the way to Chestnut. So if we go forward with Dogwood, we will still build something that we ask for SORTA funding for. So I think
Is that funding in jeopardy if we don't do this? Is all the funding in jeopardy?
No.
Okay. And then, technically, kind of, we are, for lack of a better term, blacklisted for 3 years if we give back the portion for the sidewalk. Is that correct?
So, no, there'll be a scale. So we'll be able to apply, which is our score will be deducted from what it would normally be, depending what the outcome of this is. So we won't be blacklisted, we can still apply, it's just our score will be reduced to what it could have been.
Does that equate to not getting funding?
Depends on which number they use.
Okay.
So, yes.
And then for SORTA dollars, I'm just trying to get some clarity here of what's at stake. And so for SORTA dollars, do SORTA dollars in general, are they a source for sidewalk improvements in general?
Yes.
So do you have concerns that we are hindering our ability to improve our sidewalks by backing out of this project?
No,
Okay. You don't think that that's gonna impact it?
no, not our ability to fix sidewalk other places in the village, no.
Perfect, okay, because you think we can still score high enough to get SORTA funding?
That's a bigger question, because a lot of it comes back to how much money we want to match with the grant.
Yeah,
So, because we applied for 3 projects last round and got nothing, because our match was only 10%. So there's bigger concerns than just the caliber of the project. How much
Okay.
money are you willing to put forward, and the project also has a major impact on whether you fund it or not.
that's helpful.
Chris, could you clarify, I mean, as I understand it, and I haven't worked on any of this, SORTA grants are related to transit, right? So for example, areas of the village would have sidewalks without transit wouldn't necessarily be eligible for a SORTA grant.
So the grant, the Metro, it's the Metro Transit Infrastructure Fund is the name of the grant project. And it will fund anything within 3/4 miles of the bus route. So US 50 has a bus route, Worcester Pike has a bus route on it. The entire village is within 3/4 miles of Worcester Pike. So any street in the village is eligible for funding, sidewalk, roadway, curb ramps, you name it.
Thank you for clarifying.
Sure.
Because the grant that we got, the SORTA grant also has the 2 streets, right? We have Grove and we have Pocahontas also are part of the SORTA grant.
But that,
Correct.
separate grant.
Well, but it's from SORTA.
It is from
We
SORTA.
have 3 projects, they
That-
funded 3 projects.
Yeah, I can't remember at what meeting Matt went through his evaluation of the SORTA grants that were granted in this last cycle, where we got none. But all the projects of one were 50% match. We'd typically been going in at 10 or 20% and winning some grants. So I think the days of the 10 to 20% match from the village are over. So we're gonna need to think of 50% or greater. So the SORTA is not, in my opinion, the SORTA is a good place to apply for grants, but at that level, it's not the only place anymore.
Right, things got much, much more competitive very, very quickly when municipalities caught on to what this whole grant program was about, because it's new. And so those first couple of years, we were able to be very successful, but now the number of applications has just ballooned, and so it's much, much more competitive.
Okay, we all,
Is it time for a motion then?
well, unless anybody else has another remark, I think everybody's had an opportunity. If so, do you want to summarize that? You did such a good job of it.
I would like to move that council does not, that the Village of Mariemont does not move forward with the Dale Park project, and that we use this project as a learning opportunity for future grant applications. and thank Mr. York for all his work on this.
Well put, well put. All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All right, Mr. Ayer.
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Vanstone.
Aye.
All right.
Does that come off the agenda? Does that come off the agenda?
Yes, it is.
All right, and that was the only report that we have tonight. All right, in miscellaneous, leaf season, again, leaf season will run through December, all of December. And again, I know I remind people of this, every other week here, and I'm seeing a lot of folks not heeding my advice. Please, please do not rake the leaves into the street. I mean, it causes traffic congestion. The leaves, some of the leaves get into the storm drains, and that causes a clog, so on and so forth. Our guys are doing a very good job to get around and get these leaves up. And I know I've heard the argument that, well, if I don't do that, Bill, and I leave them on my yard, it's going to kill the grass. I really don't think it ever works out that way. The grass always comes back. So please, just be a little oh, and by the way, too, we're just talking about leaves here. Please do not bury pumpkins at the bottom of the pile, because that gets, clogs up the chute and that kind of stuff. And the same thing goes for larger twigs and sticks and so on. If you simply put the pumpkin and the twigs and the sticks in a separate pile, they'll get picked up separately. But if you try to hide them and bury them, and I don't know why people do that, I guess I know they're not really thinking, it clogs up the chute and it gums up the whole works, and big delays then everywhere, okay? Dean?
Schedule for when each street is done, because we've been missed multiple years. So, yes, our grass was filling.
Oh, what was it? Yeah.
Not that
Okay.
it's the biggest issue in my life, but
Okay.
It would be much better to know when they're gonna do each street, so that way.
Yeah, and you're on Hammerstone. I'll see if I can get Hammerstone off the blackballed list.
Good luck, I'm sure.
Okay. I'm sorry about that.
This is Ben's first year, so maybe you're off the list.
Yeah, the answer to your question is we don't have a list. I mean, they try to get out and they survey the village to see, where the biggest accumulations are, things like that. But I mean, obviously, they don't want to let piles, sit forever, kind of a thing. I can say up on Lytle Woods, where I live, we have piles that have been sitting there for a while, and so it's not like a question of, it's just a matter of making the rounds and, surveying what needs to be collected.
It would be nice just to have,
Okay.
to know that.
Yeah, a little heads up. Okay. All right, see what I can do. All right, enough on the leaves. Village offices will be closed Thursday and Friday, November the 28th, in observation of Thanksgiving. The December council meeting will be Monday, December the 16th, and that meeting will begin immediately following the capital improvement meeting, which starts at 5:30. And that's going to be a rousingly good meeting to attend, so you all want to show up.
If you're looking for a meeting.
If you're looking for a meeting.
That's going to be a good one.
Yes, sir, boy.
You won't need no dose.
Again, village offices will be closed Wednesday and Thursday. This is Wednesday and Thursday, December the 25th and 6th, obviously in observation of Christmas and the holidays. And village offices will also be closed Wednesday, January the 1st, in observation of New Year's Day. All right, I think I've covered all the lecturing that I can do for an evening about leaves.
Bill, did you want to mention Luminaria?
Oh, yes, Luminaria. Let's see, do we have something like that going on here? Is that coming up soon? Yes. All right. Give us a quick update.
Yes, MPPG has been hard at work planning this annual fundraiser. It will be on Saturday, December 7th. Check me, I don't have my calendar. Saturday, December 7th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. in Old Town Square. We will have Santa. We will have the carriage rides, everything you know and love. Different booths from some of our sponsors with treats for the kids. There'll be hot chocolate and cookies and donuts. So we would love for everyone to come out. If you did not purchase your Luminaria kits this year, we will still be selling them at the Boy Scout sale after Thanksgiving. So the 3 days after Thanksgiving, they will be for sale right here, right out on the lawn.
Yeah, it's such a great event in this village. I mean, it clearly is one of my favorite. I love the little kids, throw the switch, and there's all kinds of excitement and all that kind of stuff. So I encourage everyone to turn out for this.
Absolutely. And a lot of people don't know. I mean, it is our only fundraiser, our main fundraiser for Mariemont Preschool Parents Group. And we have done in the past, we've given a lot of money to different charities, both locally and broader Cincinnati. So we've made many improvements to this neighborhood, and we couldn't do it without the support of the community. So thank you all very much.
All right. See you there.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we have a couple of resolutions on tonight.
Okay. This is a third reading to appoint Scott Remmer as a non-voting member of the Tree Advisory Board for the calendar year 2025.
Okay, we're not bunching that with anything, correct? That's a single one. All right, a motion and a second to adopt.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Ayer? Aye. Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Brown Knight?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
All right.
Okay, this is the second reading to appoint Marcia Lindner as a non-voting member of the Tree Advisory Board for the calendar year 2025.
All right, that's the second reading. We'll have the third reading next 2 weeks. Well, any discussion regarding that? Discussion? All right.
Okay, and to appoint Kim Beach as a member of the Mariemont Racquet Club Board for the calendar year 2025.
All right, again, second reading. We'll have the third reading next time. Any comments about Kim? Very good choice. Okay.
All right, this is a first reading to accept bid of Rumpke of Ohio Incorporated for collection and disposal of solid waste, yard waste, and recyclables to authorize contract and pay for services.
All right, that's the first reading. We'll have the second reading again next council.
Okay. This is a first reading, a resolution authorizing the village to apply for a 2024 Saving America's Treasures federal grant for the family statutory project and to declare emergency.
All right, that's the first reading. I need a motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for the second and third reading.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ayer?
No.
When do we have a chance to talk to this?
As soon as we go to the second reading, we'll have discussion on
Have a
this.
discussion?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm aye, so we can talk
Okay.
about it, but.
Yeah, this is just to have the second reading. I'm sorry, you voted aye.
No, you voted no.
Oh, he
No,
voted
he voted
no.
no.
Okay. Mrs. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Lewis?
No.
No. Van Stone?
Aye.
Aye. All right, I think we have enough to have this second reading.
Okay. A resolution authorizing the village to apply for a 2024 Saving America's Treasures federal grant for the family statutory project and to declare emergency.
All right, this is time for discussion on this particular resolution.
My, looking at the resolution, I don't have, a lot more to go on other than the resolution. I am in favor of this project, and I'm in favor of the village applying for grants, and I'm in favor of supporting MPF, but I just don't have enough information to go forward with the grant. Same reason that we just talked about earlier in this meeting, and I would very much like to approve this on an emergency basis at our next meeting, but there are some things I'd like to know about it. I'd like to know how much are we applying for? What are we applying for? It requires a 100% minimum match. Do we have some type of guarantee, promissory note that that's coming from MPF? Have we resolved with the National Park Service that this is, that we can actually receive a grant for something like this when they say a new structure is not something that you can apply for with Save America? Have we at least had a conversation with them to make sure that we're not wasting our time, since most of this project is for a new structure? And I understand that it's bigger than that because it's also to preserve the statue, but it's kind of a gray area. I would like to know who's going to administer the grant as far as what all the reports are that are gonna be required and that kind of thing, and who's going to be doing that, and just the basic questions that we should be asking for any grant. And again, I want to emphasize, I'm very much in favor of the project and looking for this, and I would very much want to support it at the next meeting when we have that information. And I know it will, if MPF gets a read to that effect, I don't think it will slow you down from working on the grant preparation either. I mean, there wouldn't be any reason that you would. But that's just information I think that we as council should have before we apply for this grant or any other grant.
Mr. Black, would you like to make a comment about that? Biff?
I understand where Matt's coming from, and sorry that I don't have all that information with me tonight. The next meeting is the 25th, is that right?
The 20,
Yeah, here.
yeah, 25th, yes.
Deadline for this December 12th.
Correct.
And we got very close, almost up to the finish line last year on the same grant. And for whatever reason or other, it just didn't happen. But some of these conversations we had then, we'll be glad to come back at that meeting and maybe even read some of that information beforehand.
And the other thing, and I've certainly done this myself, is that, you know, we're getting awful close to the deadline, but we knew the deadline a year ago when we had this conversation too. And I'm just guessing that it has to do with you having a development person now that is dedicated to work on it, and that's kind of recent. And so I get all that, and I want to support it. Just want to have all those answers.
And just to be clear, because I think this is kind of confusing, because why we're talking about MPF, because it's very much like the rest of the Centennial projects. I mean, the statuary, the park, everything belongs to the village.
Mhm.
So what's MPF's role here? Only that, as Matt alluded to, we have a new part-time director of development who is helping in the preparation, is all we're doing here.
Yeah, right.
It's still the village that's applying. It's the village will be responsible for all this stuff. And so we're just kind of helping out. And we do have the perks. We have the money still for this. And that's where we'll come from.
Yeah, and I think we can sort all that out before the next meeting, and I don't want to in any way slow you down from what you're doing, but just, I think it would be just good for us to
Yeah,
have
absolutely.
it all on the table before we sign on the dotted line this
Okay,
time.
okay. Then I
Do you
think
want
what-
to table this?
Then I think what we need is a motion to table.
Can I
Am I
ask-
correct?
I just
Oh,
have
I'm
a
sorry.
clarifying question.
Yeah.
Is it possible just to make sure, 'cause, you know, these things are so much work, we want to make sure we deliver on the work MPF is investing in. Do we need a list of questions so we make sure we have them answered prior to the, or that you guys have those? Or
He just ran quite a litany of questions
yeah,
there.
verbally, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to come up with more,
Yeah.
I don't want to come up with more
I
at the
know,
next meeting.
No,
I
but
mean,
that's what I'm saying. We had a verbal list
Yeah.
of questions, but is there a way to document, I mean, can we just get those questions to MPF?
Sure.
So that we make sure that everything's tied up nicely for the 25th, just because it's a short timeline.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be in the minutes. I mean, we can get a copy of the minutes.
Well,
Could,
and I wrote right away.
Oh, did you, were you
Watch the
writing?
video, so,
Okay.
Okay.
That's true. You can watch, yeah, I can go home and watch this mess on TV.
I got about 2 of the things down, right? I got my hand crimped in my
Okay.
Right. I
I
just want
get
to
it.
make sure that we don't have unanswered questions coming
Yeah.
in the 25th,
Yeah.
because we're out of time.
Yeah.
I'd suggest also, Biff, they just have private communication with Matt to get the questions and they can be addressed.
Well, I agree, with it, but I think it would be good just if we all get a chance to see
Oh,
the
I-
questions, you know, so, because it may spark something, right? You may,
Yeah.
you may see something that
Well,
sparks an
we
idea.
you're on a tight timeline.
I understand, but I just think,
It
I
can be
think,
done in 2 days, that's fine.
I think Susan's got a really good point about making sure that we do get all those questions addressed, and I
I
think
agree
that'll
with,
be.
Yeah, we don't want to come back here in 2 weeks and then not have something answered.
Yeah, but what about?
Yeah, but what
Right.
about, exactly,
So-
right.
Well, and it's a lot of investment too, I mean, on behalf of the village that's happening, which I really appreciate, so I want to
Yeah.
make sure we get that done.
So Biff, after you watch that video, if you can send us what you took away as the questions, just send it, yeah, that'd be great. I think that'd be.
We'll include the answers, how about that?
Done.
That'd be perfect, even
Thank
better,
you.
even better.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we want to table it?
Yes, make a motion to table this until council has more information so they can make a decision next council meeting. You said it better than I did.
No, you said that great. Okay, I'd like to move that we table this resolution until our next meeting, pending additional information from MPF.
Second.
Second. Mr. Ayer.
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone.
Aye.
All right. Put that on the table till then. Did we skip this Rumpke bid thing?
No, we had the first reading.
Did we?
Yep.
Okay.
So we had the first and second reading of this, so next meeting, we'll just have to have the third.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
All right.
Ed, will we have a chance to have discussion though before we have the third vote, the third reading?
What's this for?
So Joni was just saying, since we've had the first and second reading, when we get together next time,
Absolutely.
Table we can discuss.
Yeah, before, I think we should have that time to.
Oh, yeah,
we should
oh,
talk
absolutely.
before we
Yeah, yes,
go
for
straight
sure.
into-
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you.
okay.
Okay, so
Ordinance?
I think we're down to the ordinance, are we not?
Right.
Yes. Okay. All right, this is a first reading to amend Section 78, Schedule 1 of the Mariemont Code of Ordinance to remove stop sign located at Hiawatha and Petoskey Avenues and to install new three-way stop sign at the intersection of Pocahontas Avenue and Hiawatha Avenue and to declare emergency.
All right, we've had the first reading. I need a motion and a second to suspend the rules and have the second and third readings.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ayer.
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone. Okay, maybe we have the second reading.
To amend Section 78, Schedule 1 of the Mariemont Code of Ordinances to remove stop sign located at Hiawatha and Petoskey Avenues and to install new three-way stop sign at the intersection of Pocahontas Avenue and Hiawatha Avenue and to declare emergency.
All right, does everybody understand? I mean, do we all know what we're talking about here?
Well, just even for the people, I would like to learn more, and maybe for the people in the audience too, so.
As it exists right now, there is a three-way stop on Hiawatha and Petoskey, either going east or west on Petoskey. That's been there for a time. As you proceed onto the Pocahontas intersection, where most people make a right turn and go down past the library kind of thing, what we're proposing there is to make that a three-way stop. Because when people come down from upper Pocahontas onto Hiawatha, they don't have to stop as they basically proceed on down, or they're gonna make a left turn. People approaching from the library side into that intersection have a hard time occasionally seeing those people, as do the people approaching off of Hiawatha. So we've had a couple of residents basically say, geez, it's a dangerous intersection, we really need an additional stop sign there, make it a three-way stop kind of a thing. So if we're gonna make that a three-way stop, then we don't need the three-way down at Petoskey. The stop sign will remain as you come down Petoskey to intersect with Hiawatha, but the through street will be removing those two stop signs.
They're about 100 feet apart.
Yeah, they're about, thereabouts. Have I covered it, Matt?
Yes, I think you have it. It's really about controlling right-of-way at that intersection, and I've gone through that intersection either driving or walking for 37 years, and I can tell you I see a close call at least once a year, and so I think this is a much-needed improvement, and that was before we had a path that goes through. So I think it makes a lot of sense. It came as a recommendation from the traffic engineers, and Chief is good with it, and it was something that was part of the design that we approved in the Mariemont Connector meeting. So that's about it. And the reception that I've had from people who are using it now, Ted Brown did an amazing job with the new signage, because he's got, I've never seen this in Mariemont before, and it's not because I asked him to do anything either, but I'm just amazed, because he has new traffic pattern ahead sign. And then on the one stop sign that we're removing, this sign is planned to be removed December 7th. And it's like, okay, people are, oh, that one's gonna be gone. And then, you have the new sign, and it's it's, bright yellow warning type signs attached to the red stop signs. And so, I just like to commend him. He just did way above and beyond as far as the right way to do this. It's actually, it's kind of impressive. It's
He's
like
got it well
it's
marked.
like we know what we're
He's got
doing.
it well marked, and some of those are temporary signs. And
Correct.
They, of course, will come down when the other
Yeah.
signs come down. And just so we are clear, I mean, we did run this past the chief, and we did run this past Chris. So this is sort of a well-coordinated effort, plan. All right, any other questions? Are we all good? All right,
Okay, this is a third reading.
third reading.
To amend Section 78, Schedule 1 of the Mariemont Code of Ordinances to remove stop sign located at Hiawatha and Petoskey Avenues and to install new three-way stop sign at the intersection of Pocahontas Avenue and Hiawatha Avenue, and to declare emergency.
All right, a motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ayers?
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
All right, a motion and a second to evoke the emergency clause, please.
So moved. Oh, cool. Second.
Second, Mr. Ayers?
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
All right, stop signs are in place, y'all mind them now.
Hey, Bill, since we're on, so we're at the end of the agenda. For Finance Committee, Joni, you put something out about this, the updating the code book, right? Do we need to put that into committee? The online stuff? Remember?
To recodify?
Recodify, thank
Oh,
you.
yeah,
I
to
couldn't
recodify.
think of the
We
word.
do that every year? I thought we
Well,
did it every 3 years.
no, I think it's depends. Depends on how many new rules you come up with.
Oh, so do we have to recodify?
If council wants to recodify, I had told Kelly that she would need to factor that into
The budget for
the budget.
Okay.
But it probably needs to be done. It's been a couple years.
And it would,
Okay.
It is a little expensive, but we should look at it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially because they update the online stuff too, so people can.
Right.
Right.
Residents
So
can
we're
access it
we're
easily.
referring that to rules and law.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's
Okay.
what, yeah,
Yeah.
we did that.
And then, since we're working on the waste and recycling contract, can we go ahead and put in a finance committee? We have to look at the fee as well, right? That would
Oh, the
change.
fee? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
putting that into there.
Sure, sure.
And I know I'm getting ahead of the game, but Rick and I have talked about this with the salary increase stuff. We'll probably need to put, because I'd like to make sure we have a recommendation so we can get the 3 readings in and the 30 days for it to go into effect and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And one last thing, I would like to, I think it might make sense, because we've had the street plan has been in the committee, Public Works for so long. I mean, it's becoming a safety issue now. We've had that storm.
You
we've had
said
the-
street plan.
I'm sorry. Tree plan, the tree board plan, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. The tree board plan is becoming a safety issue now. And so I would like to recommend that we maybe move it into safety committee, because we've had trees fall down in the last storm that came through in October.
That's in the tree advisory board, and we're gonna meet later this month on that subject.
Well, the thing is, Bob, you know, that the critical part is the stuff that Karen Ketzel was just talking about, that they want to have proactive management of the trees around here to make sure that we're doing that. And we've, you know, Randy and I have sent you emails, and I mean, I've counted
I
going back.
understand.
And
I
we
still
haven't
had
talked
some
about that.
questions, that's all.
Well, but I asked Kelly today, I talked to her on the phone, and she said she doesn't understand what more you need. And so it just feels
Okay.
like we're sort of stuck, and I think.
I don't think we're stuck. We'll get it in November.
By the next meeting? Because again, if we have to build it into the budget, and if they're gonna get somebody, because the work should be done in January, February, because that's when the trees are dormant. And so you need to sort of
But
get
this
enough time to.
isn't part of the permanent improvement budget,
No.
which is December.
It's part of the operating budget.
Well, we aren't doing that in December, are we?
No, she has to take an initial cut at the whole budget, and so we need to make a recommendation.
I'll talk to Kelly. I will try and get it before the next meeting, but I'm
'cause
not gonna guarantee that.
We need to get moving on this in order to get the tree board, if we're gonna do it or not, we need to get going in January, February, when the trees are dormant, to start
Yep.
proactive maintenance.
I agree.
Which everyone thinks, I think everyone, as Bill said earlier,
Yeah.
everyone here agrees that that's a really important thing that we get back into.
Absolutely. The
We haven't
question
been
was the
doing that.
magnitude, not going forward.
Yeah, and so again, I talked to Kelly today on the phone, she said she wasn't sure, she said she's met with you, but she's still not sure what more you need,
Okay.
so.
No, yeah, I mean, we all know this has to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah.
well, that's why I think we should have a meeting, so we can make
think
a
it was-
recommendation to council so that they can, so Ben can start to plan for it to happen in January, February, right? And Kelly can build it into the budget, so, because there is some incremental spending, like you
Yep.
talked about, so.
Yeah.
Hey, can we clean up one other thing? committee of the whole to prioritize capital improvement projects. I think we're done with that, aren't we? I mean, Matt led us through that
I hope
process.
so.
And hopefully that also helps speed up our permanent improvement, the capital,
Do it again next year.
the capital project.
So we're prioritize capital improvement, we're taking that off?
Well, we did it, right? I think we're done.
You feel as though we're,
How do you feel about it?
yeah, how do you feel about that?
I think we can take it off till this
Okay.
time next year.
Okay.
I'm happy to do it again.
Just one other question. So the other one that's in safety, the last one, it says traffic calming Miami at Mount Vernon, and then comma, Old Town Center lighting. Those seems like there's two different topics.
It would be good to put those on 2 lines.
You see what I'm saying? The last line in safety
Yeah,
committee?
well, the Old Town lighting, are you talking, I mean, you're talking about the replacement of the street light bulbs and the globes? Are we talking about that, or you're talking about at
The historic district lot, looking.
the lot? Yeah, okay, the lot.
But that's a different topic
Yeah.
than traffic calming.
Right,
Those are
right.
two different topics. I'm just saying it should be a separate line,
Okay,
because they're two different topics.
all right. So you want it to be two lines?
Yeah.
One above the other.
One above the other. Well, that
Got
we
it.
can do. All right.
Go.
I'm going for the gavel.
Go.
Go. We're adjourned. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming in here tonight.